today. We are building a movement of grandparents for truth and their supporters, and grandparents adjacent, and grandkids, and everyone who cares about reading banned books, learning curricula that are inclusive and about people of all stages in life, BIPOC people, LGBTQ plus people, everyone across the spectrum, their histories and their presents. So thanks for coming out. And if you see people who are wearing Grandparents for Truth shirts, you better thank them, because not only are they the reason for the movement, they're literally the reason we're here. We all have grandparents, so thank your grandparents. Totally off script, so let's see what I need to still get in here. So thanks for joining us. We have a lot of great speakers, including concerned grandparents. We have local activists, national organizations, and elected officials as well. And we're here because we believe in the freedom to learn and the freedom to read, right? All right. We believe that learning is for everyone and students should learn about everyone, right? Yeah. All right, so let's talk. All right, we care about teaching tolerance and love, and we want to send inclusive messages during Pride Month, right? Yeah. All right, I just want to give a quick note thanking our partners. Everyone, we have a ton of partners in this fight, and everyone has done such an amazing job, but I also specifically want to mention a couple. We've got Defense of Democracy, Stop Moms for Liberty, Pennsylvania, Act Up, P-Flag, Mazzoni Center, and Councilman Isaiah Thomas's office has kept me sane for weeks now. All right, we have a ton of partners in this fight, not including everyone, but that was just a quick overview. All right, so we got a lot of speakers here. Everybody's really excited that you're here to fight. We're gonna start with a prayer and some conversation with our faith leaders. So I'm gonna turn it over to Reverend Matthew Arlick.
All right, I'm going to turn this over to Pastor Jay Bergen, who's going to start with some words, and then we're going to have a multi-faith prayer.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew. My name is the Reverend Jay Bergen. I use they and them, and I'm one of the pastors at Germantown Mennonite Church, the oldest Mennonite church in North America, here in Philadelphia. I love those honks. I love those cheers. If there are any other clergy in the crowd, you want to come up and join us. If you're not a part of Power, you're still welcome. If you got ordained so you could officiate your kids' queer wedding, that counts. Come up here. Get up here. And I am mindful that we gather here under, threat of smoke warning. And the past week we've had flood warnings. Now we're here because of a fascism warning. It seems the dangers of corporate power and corporate takeover, corporate-caused climate change are all around us, and yet we gather here to witness to the truth that we are not afraid. We've seen billionaires disappearing in submarines. We've seen poor people fleeing climate crisis on boats across the Mediterranean, fleeing and entering our country seeking refuge and asylum. And today we have someone who would rather deport those people on planes and on buses than to see the beloved Spirit of God in each person. For shame. And so there's so much today that might lead us to despair. There's so much in our history and in our present that might fill us with fear, which might cause us to lose hope. But I am here to tell you today that I am filled with the spirit of hope. Because not only is Germantown the oldest Mennonite church in North America, not only in 1688 did we sign the first protest by white people against racialized slavery, but in 1988, 300 years later, we began to welcome queer people into our congregation as full leaders, as full participants, as full children of God. And so, a few years later, our Mennonite conference, in all of its wisdom, decided to demote us to assistant member. Now, you don't have to know about Mennonite polity. That's a made-up category. They want to talk to us about making up categories. They had to invent a whole new category. They were so scared of our congregation. And then just 6 years later, a different Mennonite conference removed us entirely because of our celebration and welcome of queer people. And Mennonite leaders around the country said, oh, Germantown Mennonite Church is going to die. They can't survive without us. Beloved, instead, Germantown Mennonite has grown. Instead, every year we dance louder and freer. Instead, every year the Spirit continues to move in our midst. And so now, 25 years after that initial removal, the Mennonite Church finally voted to become inclusive and affirming. So sometimes hope takes a long time. Sometimes our courage may not reward us in the short term, but I am here to tell you that God is standing on your side. I am here to tell you that the God of freedom, the God of liberation, who has moved in this city proclaiming freedom for the captive for over 300 years, the God of freedom that has danced in these streets, has danced at that intersection, quite notably some of us a few years ago. That God is with us today. And so if you lose hope today, I invite you to turn to your neighbor and look in their face and see the presence of the divine in them. Because God is with you. God dances with you. God shouts with you. God rejoices with you. And as you leave here, if you're returning to somewhere else in Philly or to the suburbs or somewhere else around the country, remember that God goes with you. Whatever your tradition, whatever your background, the spirit of liberation is alive. And though the forces of fear and of death may appear powerful, we know that we will win. We know that we are on the side of truth. We are on the side of justice. We know that we are on the side of the Holy One who makes each of us in their image. So let us dance today. Let us rejoice today. Let us celebrate today as the Spirit grows our movement. I was saying, I'm not used to so many progressives being awake so early in the morning. So I know that this crowd right now, though it is mighty, is going to grow mightier still throughout this day. We're going to gain in spirit. We're going to gain in numbers. I know tomorrow is going to be an even larger dance party, so I hope you brought your dancing shoes. The Spirit dances with you. Amen? Amen.
From Isaiah. Oti yom yom dirashon v'dat darechei yechafatsun. And thus says God, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and tie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry. Take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing and do not ignore. Adonai, our God, help us to experience the blessings of our lives and circumstances, to be vigilant, compassionate, and brave, to strengthen us when we are afraid. Help us to channel our anger so that it motivates us to action. Help us to feel our fear so that we do not become numb. Help us to be generous with others so that we raise each other up. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion, then God's light will shine in darkness. And that is our holy work.
Let us pray, my sisters and brothers. Most wise and eternal God, our Heavenly Father, we come on this day. Father, we come with praise and we come with adoration unto you, O God, because you are the God of all life, and in you we live and move and have our being. So, Father, we thank you, Lord God, for the life that you have given us. But, Father, we also thank you for your divine word, your Bible, basic instruction before leaving earth. And so, Father, as we follow your basic instruction before leaving earth, oh God, it tells us that we are to love one another as you have loved us. And Father, you love us with an everlasting love, a love that has no beginning and a love that has no ending. Your love for us, oh God, is eternal. So Father, we thank you, Lord God, for sending your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord, who taught us how to love one another. Because your word also tells us that every man is our brother. When the disciple asked, who is my brother? Every man is our brother, man, woman, and child, God. So everything that we do and say must be done in love, because you are a God of love. You are a God of compassion. You are a God of righteousness and holiness. And so, Father, your word also says that we cannot love you if we don't love one another. So, Father, how do we love one another? We respect one another. We care about one another. We want the best for one another, oh God. We're not going back to before 1960, God. We're coming forward into the future, God, wanting more and better for one another. Because, Father, you have come to save your world, not to save just some in the world, but you have come that we might have life and have that life more abundantly. So, Father, we thank you, Lord God, because we're not giving up hope, God. We're going to fight the righteous fight of hope for righteousness and justice. Because, Father, when your Son comes back, he's coming back for a church without spot or blemish, God. So, Father, teach us how to love one another. Teach us how to protect one another. Teach us how to respect our children and give them everything they stand in need of. Help us to be a better nation than we have been, God. Because it's only through you that we can make the change. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I'm so excited that y'all are here. And knowledge is power, right? Let's hear knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. All right, that was beautiful. Thanks, guys. All right, I gotta stop talking because we have a special guest. We have State Rep Malcolm Kenyatta, who is here all the way, well, from Philadelphia, but all the way from down the street. He has to go to Harrisburg. He specifically stayed here so he could talk to y'all. He is missing session, probably, and we would love to welcome him and thank him for being here. So, Mr. Kenyatta, thank you.
Good morning. I will tell you this. If your liberty requires my bondage, you ain't for liberty. If your freedom requires my subjugation, you ain't for freedom. I will tell you that there are a lot of issues in our schools. You talk to people about our schools, there are a lot of things they want us to focus on with our schools. I have not had one constituent say, Rep, what I need you to do is ban bugs. I have not had one person say, what we need is to make life miserable for gay and trans kids in our school. Not one. So we are up against a movement that has very little to offer, and so all they offer you is hate. When you don't have real ideas to solve the real concerns of real people, then you do and you get what you have across the street there. That's what you get. A conference of cynicism, a conference of division, a immoral, anti-patriotic conference of hate and destruction. That's what you get. And I will tell you, when an elected leader, when all they can offer you is a list of who to hate, a list of what to ban, and then they find a small group that they think they can pick on to blame for all the problems, it's because they don't give a damn about you. That's right. And so you're going to have a lot of national elected officials who are going to be marching themselves in to lay before the proud moms to tell them how much damage they want to do to our public school system at a moment where we ought to be investing in our public schools. Where we ought to be cleaning toxic buildings. Where we ought to be making sure every school is a place where our kids are safe, protected, educated, and loved. But what I can tell you about this crowd really smacks in the face of what they think they are doing. A part of their agenda is to divide us up. So they think that if they traffic in racism, that'll put all the non-white folks over here and all the white folks over here. But what they don't understand is there are a lot of white folks of conscience who are saying no. They think that if they can put all the LGBTQ folks over here and all the straight folks over here, that they can create a division. But there are a lot of straight folks who say, hell no. I will tell you this. Their hatred, their bigotry, the things that you're going to hear out of this conference, well, you won't hear it because you won't hear it. These ideas aren't new. These ideas are old. These ideas have lost before. And these ideas are going to lose again. We are going to win. We are going to win for our values. We are going to win for a Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States where people are lifted up, not kicked down. Where we empower each other. Don't try to disempower each other. A place where we tell the truth and don't traffic in lies. And so I am confident, my friends, I am confident that when we stand together like we are this morning, we are going to win. We are going to win. And I will tell you this, people don't fight you because you're losing. They don't fight you because you're losing. They fight you because you're winning. Because we are demanding and delivering on a country where more of us are included, where less of us are excluded, where more of us see ourselves in our elected officials, see ourselves in the books we read, see ourselves in the classroom, and that scares the hell out of them. But I will tell you, they should be scared because we aren't going anywhere. God bless you. Thank you so much.
I want to introduce next the Executive Director of People for the American Way, Savante Myron. Woo!
Good morning, Philadelphia. My name is Savante. I'm the president and CEO of People for the American Way. We're a 40-year-old organization. We fight for truth, justice, and freedom. We fight for freedom from fear and the freedom to vote. And today we're fighting for the freedom to learn. And it's important to be here because I'm sure you all know what happened yesterday at the Supreme Court. You heard about this? 6 people who were not elected by anyone, ever, voted to take our country's education system back 60 years. Last year, they took a women's right to choose back 100 years. The group across the street would like to take us back to the Dark Ages. But I was reminded actually by this sign today that Philadelphia has been fighting fascists and authoritarians for 250 years. And they're going to continue to fight. And what we are thrilled to do at People for the American Way is host a very, very special group of people. A group of people who have seen and faced down fascism before. A group of people who have the long lens of history. A group of people who will fight fiercely and determinedly for their grandchildren's rights to life. When Grandparents for Truth was founded just earlier this Pride Month, we thought that maybe 20 people would be interested. We thought that maybe 100 folks would eventually sign up. A woman called me in the office and said, I want to be one of the inaugural members of Grandparents for Truth. Because Moms for Liberty has been terrifying the school board members in my district. And I asked her, I said, aren't you scared? Are you sure you're ready to go up against this group? And she said, no joke, pardon This is what she said. She said, I'm 80 years old. I ran out of fucks to give back in 2012. And I think that is actually what's so inspiring about the two people that I'm very privileged to introduce you to. Two of our inaugural founding members of Grandparents for Truth, that is Ruth and Maureen.
Hi. I'm not a professional speaker, so bear with me.
Got this.
Thank you. So, I'm white, raised Catholic, cisgendered, hetero, granny, and I could probably, in a different shirt, blend in just fine over there. But I'm standing here because this is where the beauty is.
Yeah.
This is where the inclusion is. And that's where I want to be. They're banning books, as everybody said, but they're not just banning any books, right? They're banning books from black and brown people. They're banning books from LGBTQ plus people. They're banning books from a Jewish perspective. They're banning all the things that they can't wrap their head around. They're banning because they don't want their children to learn other ways of thinking. They only want their children to experience their dogma. I'm a grandmom and I'm an ally. My grandkids have friends that look different from them. My grandkids have been exposed to other cultures in other countries. My grandkids have been to Drag Queen Story Time and Pride Fest. And while none of them have come to me and said, hey, I'm gay or trans or anything like that, they've sure been exposed to all of that. And they've been happy to be exposed to all of that. And they have friends that they've met who are LGBTQ plus. And their best friends are people of color, and their world is so much brighter than the world of the children in that building. And they did have children last night when I was at the museum. They were bringing children in and walking past all that, and I thought, that's just wrong. That's indoctrination. That's the problem. You know, it was like watching the Hitler Youth walk in. It was awful. So why do they hate? It's learned, it's taught. They're not exposed to anything different. And those poor kids are probably going to grow up hating the same people their parents hate. And why am I, a middle-aged, white, heterosexual, cisgendered, raised Catholic person here? Because Moms for Liberty are fascists. And when fascists get some power, they go for more power. And when they go after one group and succeed, they go to the next group. And that's why it's so important that all these different groups have joined together and said, no, we're not doing that. We must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. And sometimes we must interfere. If you've ever wondered what you would have done during the Civil War, slavery, the Holocaust, or the Civil Rights Movement, it'd be the same thing you're doing right now. Silence is consent, and inaction is permission. Thank you.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'll be very brief, I promise you. My name is Asa Khalif. I'm a proud member of the LGBT community here in Philadelphia, an activist and advocate. I also am a member of the Black Lives Matter movement. I wanted to say, because I see a lot of our allies who are white, and I appreciate you all, but I want to share a very brief story. As an adopted son, a Polish father, my Polish grandmother was the first one that I came out to in Massachusetts. I want to make sure that all of the trans, black, and brown women and men who have been murdered here, who are friends of mine, who have been murdered in this city, even by police, I want their names acknowledged. And one in particular, who made national and international coverage, and a dear friend of mine, her name was Niza Morris. She was murdered right here in Center City, only blocks away from where we're having this protest and rally. I want to make sure she say her name, Niza Morris. I I also want to make sure that everyone says the name of Otis Chili, a member of the LGBTQ Black and Brown ballroom scene. Otis Chili.
Otis Chili.
Also want to say lastly but not least, and so many others, I want to say his name, Alfie.
Alfie.
And so many others. I'm here in Philadelphia, we're fighting. Other of our activists who are working. I'm on my way to work. I have to change from my Batman to Bruce Wayne. But I want you to know that we are here. And if anyone is in our city, we respect everyone. We appreciate you. But we are the ones who will stand here when everything leaves, fighting for justice for Black and brown and poor people who are part of our community. Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter.
All Black Lives Matter.
All Black Lives Matter.
Trans Lives Matter.
Trans Lives Matter.
And you got a fucking friend in me. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ruth Littner. I'm a grandparent, an educator, an author, a parent of a queer child and a disabled child, and the daughter of 2 survivors of the Holocaust. It's a guarantee, a given, a certainty that the future can be predicted by studying history. Well, my friends, since that's the case, if we go down the road that authoritarians in this country are dragging us toward, we're in for a horrific repeat of a tragedy that took place only a few decades ago.
That's right.
I never met any of my grandparents. All 4 were murdered before I was born. By who, you ask? By who? By ignorant people like you and me, but people who were not given the opportunity to read anything other than what a myopic megalomaniac permitted. Those poor people were not allowed to understand humanity and differences in race, gender, religion, or political beliefs. Books were banned. Any reading material that did not fit the intent, that of a pure race, became illegal. The people were fed lies and they believed them. And 13 million people, 60 of whom were my own grandparents, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, were tortured and murdered. Books offer opportunity to understand things one does not yet know. Books broaden understanding and knowledge and kindness. Banning books is the exact opposite of education. Banning books is the exact opposite of liberty,
That's right.
regardless of their misnamed organization. Liberty is defined as freedom, including freedom to learn and freedom to understand and grow. If you don't know something or someone or some culture, you read about it. These moms have bastardized a word that millions of people have fought to gain: liberty. My friends, book banning is yet the next step toward fascism. It's a step toward creating what the MAGA folks want: a white nation pure in race, sexual orientation, gender, and beliefs. Their beliefs. And you can bank on it that I know the results of fascism firsthand. Trust the science. Trust history. Be educated by reading what you like when you like. That is true history. If you don't feel like ordering a hamburger for lunch that's listed on a menu, that doesn't mean you remove it from the menu.
That's right.
Quashing options is not liberty.
That's right.
When we foster the freedom to learn, we come to a greater understanding of the world in which we live, the people within it, and the nature of life. We become less xenophobic and more understanding. Everyone is different. Let's embrace our differences, open our hearts, and expand our minds by keeping knowledge available to all. Thank you.
I don't know her. We're not related. Just kidding. That's my mom. Let's give it up for Neither Them. All right. Neither Them is a professional speaker. They just are super heated up about this. Okay, so I want to hear next from State Senator Nikhil Sabal. All right. So the state senator is here as well. He has to be in Harrisburg like immediately, but has made time to speak to you. So give him a hand.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is amazing. This is such an energizing crowd. This is so much better than coffee. I also need coffee. But thank you so much. It's so beautiful to be out here countering hatred with joy. Again, I'm Nikhil Saval. It's an honor to be here. It was an honor to be here with my colleague, Malcolm Kenyatta. Can we please give my colleague Malcolm another round of applause? Malcolm is one of the reasons that gives me hope. If you know that he's going from here to Harrisburg. He travels everywhere around the state to spread the same message that we are spreading here, that hate has no home. I also recognize friends from Isaiah Thomas's office, Councilman Isaiah Thomas, Representative Ben Waxman, who represents this area along with me, as an elected representative, as a Philadelphian, as the son of immigrants, and as a parent raising 2 children of color in this city. I am so grateful to be here. Thank you so much to the many, many groups. I used to be a community organizer before this, so I know how much work it takes to get to a rally of this size. Thank you to all the tireless work that has brought us together. Thank you to my fellow Philadelphians who are out here to show what our city is about. And thank you to all the people who have traveled here to stand with us. Welcome to Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a city, we've heard it before, of liberty, of inclusion, and my favorite word, solidarity. And it bears repeating over and over and over that hate has no home here. Today we are here in a united refutation of the racist, bigoted agenda of a hate group. This is a group propped up by far-right special interests that seek to erase the voices of Black, brown, and LGBTQ people and communities from the expansive fabric of our nation's history, that seeks to sow mistrust in our public schools and libraries, and seek to turn back the decades of work that we have done and that generations before us have done and generations in the future will do to build a better world. And I just want to say, I'm not worried. Are you worried? No! Why am I not worried? I'm not worried because of the work of all of us here, the hundreds and thousands of us that are here to counter us. I'm not worried. I'm not worried because 3 years ago, we had the largest uprising this country has ever seen. And in that uprising, so much flowed from it. We see some of the results in the children's books that are on the table, that histories began to be uncovered, words began to be spoken, truths uttered that we had not heard before. We began to hear over and over that housing is a human right. We began to hear over and over that Black lives matter. And I began to feel simply as a parent of 2 young Asian American children, that they would read the histories that I did not read when I was growing up, that they would read more fulsomely the histories of slavery and of colonialism, the history of their grandparents who were imprisoned fighting the British Empire. They would read it as I did not, and I began to have hope. And I knew that as I had hope that there would be a reaction, that there would be a small minority of people who wanted to protect their narrow, bigoted, small-minded version of history. And I knew, and I'm not worried, because I'm not worried that we are not going to let that happen. We are going to win. We have seen it before. We have seen it across the world, and we have seen it in Philadelphia, and we know that the best way to fight the forces of fascism and bigotry and extremism is by throwing the party of the year, because you do not mess with Philadelphia. We know it because, and we have clergy assembled here, it goes back generations. The vision of democracy that we've seen in Isaiah, every valley shall be exalted, every mountain and hill laid low, the crooked straight, and the rough places plain. We have done it before, we will do it again. This is what it means to build our democracy. We are in it together, and we are in it for the long haul, because this is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Thank you.
Okay, but first, let's let's hear from a teacher. This is Keith Willard. He's a social studies teacher in Bucks County. Now, if y'all know anything about Bucks County, you know it is a hotbed of book banning. And we need people like Keith to tell us why it's important to not ban books. Let's hear your story.
Thank you, Lana. Again, my name is Keith Willard. I'm a social studies teacher in the third largest district in Pennsylvania, just north of us, in an area where the Moms for Liberty have infiltrated our school and they sit on our school board. I can testify for who these people are and how they are dividing our communities. In the last 2 years, these Liberty people have been making the lives of teachers, librarians, and guidance counselors miserable by attacking them and their reputations. They call out staff by name at school board meetings, and they have no regard for how their actions affect school staff. I see Moms for Liberty as a force in pushing some of the most talented teachers and administrators out of my district. In some cases, they are a force that pushes teachers out of the profession entirely. I can tell you what galvanizes these Moms for Liberty. Anti-LGBTQ agendas and accusing school staff of malfeasance. They divide communities. They weaponize transgender students to change policy. It's clear to me why Moms for Liberty people are pushing a narrative out there that schools are indoctrinating kids. It's because if there isn't a problem, their group doesn't have a purpose. It all started with masks, but once that issue had passed, how do they stay relevant? What other problems can they find in schools? Well, our public schools are pretty awesome. We all know a teacher. Someone who's a friend, a family member, a spouse, so you know how amazing they are. But these Moms for Liberty people have to find something wrong with schools. So what do? They search, they write to no emails, and when they can't find something, they fabricate it. They absolutely fabricate it. And I can testify to that, since I have been victimized by these far-right extremists misrepresenting my work. It is irresponsible and dangerous to repeat unfounded stories about pornography in elementary schools and say that there are books that tell kids how to have sex. It's irresponsible and dangerous because when enough people spread these lies, people come to believe it. They absolutely believe it. Speak to an educator if you want the truth. How did we get from being the heroes during the pandemic, the essential employees taking care of the nation's children, to grooming? It's infuriating. And Moms for Liberty are at the heart of this narrative in our nation's schools. Shame on you for accusing teachers of sexualizing kids for your political gain. And to make things more ironic, you do all this in the name of Christianity. You are the worst examples of Christians. We cannot allow extremist political groups and hate groups to control our schools. And pay attention, because as their brand becomes toxic, they rebrand at the local levels. In Bucks County, they are now Protect Bucks. These people attack the LGBT community, they attack our pride, they especially attack our transgender community. And by pushing these culture wars, the Moms for Liberty are showing that transphobes and homophobes can be vocal, they can be loud, and they can feel justified in their bigotry because their hate is fused to their politics. As an educator, this is why I'm protesting here today. It's because vilifying teachers is un-American. Book banning is un-American. Denying the humanity of trans people is un-American. Banning pride flags and don't say gay in schools is un-American. Students should see themselves reflected in our schools, our classrooms, and our community and our curriculums. Bigotry and discrimination is un-American. We are a nation that strives to include everyone in We the People.
I will not have the work I'm doing be misrepresented by extremists. We are not on your side. Teachers are not on your side, Moms for Liberty. You don't want to co-parent with the government? I don't want to co-teach with homophobes and transphobes. You are a threat to our profession, the future of public schools and democracy. You are not welcome in our schools. You are not welcome in Philadelphia.
All right. I would love to now hear from our tireless partner in this fight, Ms. Karen. She has been on every call. Where are you? There you are. On every call, on every text, answers everything. She's from Defense of Democracy, and they formed last year in response, sorry, I'm taking your script, in response to Moms for Liberty, because they said, we have to fight back. So they're fighting back. Let's hear from Karen Svoboda.
Thank you, everyone. It is such an honor to be here speaking in front of you today. I have to say, I want to thank Alana for inviting me to speak. When we started, when Defense of Democracy started, it started the same way that most of you found out about Moms for Liberty. They started running for office. Who are they? Moms, Liberty, it sounds pretty nice. What Defense of Democracy has done is we pull the curtain aside, we use their own words, we run awareness campaigns using their rhetoric, and we mobilize. So I want to thank everyone who came here. I heard a couple of people said it already, that if you go back and you look at 1930s Germany, this is where we are. And if you've ever wondered to yourself, who am I? Would I have stood up? Would I have spoken out? This is your answer. Here today, this is the group of people who would have resisted. You are showing this to your children. You are showing this to yourself. This is important. One person stands up, you are giving the courage to 10 people to stand up around you. I am so grateful to our spiritual leaders who spoke first. I was in tears. I was so moved as a Christian woman to hear the fact, because it kills me that these people are co-opting spirituality and religion. It kills me that they are co-opting patriotism. It kills me that they are co-opting family. That is not what family or spirituality or patriotism is. This is. And what we are showing them today is that having a summit in Philadelphia is a huge fucking mistake, because Philadelphia is not Reverend Florida. We are a whole different beast up here. So let's show them how. Let's give it to them. We are peacefully protesting. There were people in the back, I don't know if anybody saw this, a couple of ladies who were trying to shout down what we were doing. And our volunteers went up to them and said, you know what? We are listening to a prayer right now. And they quietly walked away and just shut them down by ignoring them. And that is the best way to do it. So I want to thank everyone here for everything you have done. You guys have inspired me, you have inspired the country, and you have inspired the world, so thank you.
All right, next we're going to hear from Sultan Shakir, President and Executive Officer of the Mazzoni Center. And if you don't know anything about the Mazzoni Center, they are doing the Lord's work. They are providing health care to LGBTQ families. Here we go, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Sultan Shakir. As she mentioned, I'm the President and Executive Officer of the Mazzoni Center. We've been around for 40 years. They're here for 4 days and they need to go home. We provide LGBTQ culturally competent behavioral health. We provide food for people who are facing food insecurity. We provide gender-affirming care, and we will not let this hate group stop us from doing that. I am born and raised here in Philadelphia, and I want to thank everybody for coming out to make sure that the hate that they are bringing to our town does not stick. Thank you for being here.
All right, I want to introduce my friend who also wins the award for Best Shorts of the Rally. Her name is Jasmine, whatever, we'll ignore that. Her name is Jasmine Anderson, and she's with ACT UP. She's awesome, give her a round of applause.
So I'm Jasmine Henderson. member of ACT UP Philadelphia, co-founder of Black and Latinx Community Control, and recently just joined Defense of Democracy. But I'm not here to represent any of those people, I'm here for me. I am a Black trans Jewish woman, and these people stand for everything that I stand against. We are in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, sisterly affection, and what they're getting right now is a whole case of find out. They're going to be getting it for the next 4 days because ACT UP, along with a whole coalition of people, are having a dance party down the street, and we're going to be there from 9 to 9 today, tomorrow, and 9 to 2 on Sunday. So we're going to be here we were here when they got here, and we're going to be here when they leave, and we're going to make sure that they get a proper Philadelphia exit. We are making sure that they understand that they're not wanted, and we have the sound and the volume to shut them down without any effort at all. So once y'all are done here, if you want to come on over and join us, please do. We're there for the next 3 days, and we'd love to have the company.
I know who's coming up next. Another huge partner in this fight has been PFLAG. Let's give it up for them. See you guys out here. I'm gonna give it over to Brian K. Bond, the president. Yes. All right.
I'm Brian Bond, pronouns he, his, Executive Director of PFLAG National, the nation's largest organization dedicated to supporting, educating, and advocating for LGBTQ+ people and those who love them.
Yes.
PFLAG was founded 50 years ago by a humble mother and school teacher. She was driven to take bold, courageous action after her gay son was viciously and violently attacked by a loud and empowered group of extremists, sound familiar? Who operated out of fear and the intentional spread of misinformation and disinformation. The mother, Jean Manford, who previously wouldn't even walk across the street against a light, not only crossed the street, but proudly marched down the center of the street with her gay son at a early New York Pride March, carrying a sign that said, "Parents of gays, united in support of our children." Now today, 51 years later, we are uniting across the street from another loud and empowered group of extremists who also operate out of fear and the intentional spread of misinformation and disinformation, who are blasting out their bleak and restrictive vision of our country, our families, our future, and indeed democracy itself.
That's right.
But I'm here to tell you, on behalf of hundreds of PFLAG chapters across the country and hundreds of thousands of members in every state, LGBTQ+, parents and family, teachers and librarians, doctors and social workers, clergy and colleagues. Our stories matter. Our histories matter. And attempting to remove our stories from bookshelves and attempting to erase our histories from classrooms will not erase or remove us. The rhetoric coming from across the street today is the last gasp of the dying hateful minority in this country. So name it what it is. It is the death rattle of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, xenophobia, ableism, and anti-LGBT+ hatred. These extremists might be well-funded, well-coordinated, and loud. But funding, coordination, and volume do not put them on the right side of history or democracy. And despite what some might have you think, our numbers are larger. The majority of Americans are with us. And our love is much, much louder. Every person, every child, black, white, or brown, transgender or not, deserves the freedom to read with love, to learn, to be safe, and to thrive. So I encourage you to keep following the lead of PFLAG founder Jean Manford, a parent and a school teacher, who believe
in the freedom to learn and to read with love. And keep speaking out, getting off the curb, marching down the middle of the street, and taking action. We must keep affirming today and every single day that courage is love, is the antidote to fear. And that accurate, honest, inclusive education is the path to liberty for all. Thank you.
There are some representatives that have been at the center of this fight from the beginning. When it turned out that they found out that Moms for Liberty were going to be at the Marriott, we had some state representatives and senators write to the Marriott and say, hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! One of those was Nikhil Sawant, one of those was Malcolm Kenyatta. Well, he was part of that fight. We are also going to hear, sorry, I lost my train of thought, from Ben Waxman, his chief of staff, Aaron Davis. He's been in this fight since the beginning. We're going to kick it over to Aaron. Thank you.
Good morning. So my name is Aaron Davis. I'm the Chief of Staff for State Rep Ben Waxman, who represents that district. So Representative is in Harrisburg right now, so he sent me to say a few words on his behalf. So it goes without saying that Representative Waxman is appalled by the presence of these hate mongers here in our district. Yes. It goes without saying that their right-wing demagogues are not welcome here. Their agenda of discrimination, censorship, book bans threaten the very essence of our democratic values and the history of intellectual freedom, what Pennsylvania and Philadelphia stands for. Moms for Liberty seeks to undermine the proud legacy of our city by advocating for the suppression of ideas, the imposition of a narrow, homogenous worldview, so that they and their allies can push their right-wing, anti-LGBTQ, privatizing agenda on our schools. They push for the removal of books that challenge their ideas and expose children to new ideas while ignoring the real needs of our education system. Moms for Liberty came here because they said that Philadelphia is the perfect backdrop for their focus on preserving American values. Well, I don't think that they represent our American values. I don't know about y'all. Values like intellectual liberty, freedom, and tolerance, that is not what they represent. And they would do well to remember the words of the founding fathers that they claim to revere so much. For it was Ben Franklin who said, "Without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom, and no thing as public liberty without freedom of speech." They want to institute this curriculum where we talk all about the founding fathers and ignore the contributions of black and brown people, of immigrants. They won't even listen to their own people. They won't even listen to their own founders. And I think that we represent our founders a lot better than they do over there. I don't know about y'all. Censorship and book bans have no place here in Philadelphia. They have no place here in Pennsylvania. They contradict the essence of our democratic values and the principles upon which our nation have been built. So let's stand united in defense of these values. Freedom, diversity, the free exchange of ideas. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States of America were founded on these ideals, and we keep them. I don't think they do, but I see everyone here now, and I know we keep those values. Hate has no home here in Philadelphia. Senator Nikhil Sawant said, I'll say it again, hate has no home here. And you all here today prove that this is a city that doesn't just stand for its values, but is willing to fight against those who are going to come here and say they have those values, when they're just here to spread their hateful agenda. We won't have it. So thank you all for being here. Thank you to the organizers. Representative Waxman is fully behind you.
Elected official here. He is also a young elected official, part of People for the American Ways Young Elected Officials Network. So he's one of ours, and we love him a lot. Let's hear it for Councilman Isaiah Thomas.
Let's make some noise for democracy. I was talking to my wife about coming here this morning, and she asked, what would make them people come to Philadelphia? And I said, the hell if I know. But then I thought about it. Philadelphia is the birthplace of democracy. Philadelphia was ground zero for the 2020 election that saved cities all across the country. Philadelphia is one of the most important cities in the entire country. So when I think about it, why did you come to Philadelphia? You came here because you thought you were going to plant seeds that will grow in ways that we know are terrible for our country and terrible for democracy. Philadelphia again saved this country in 2020, and we might have to do it again. But the thing about Philadelphia, we're always prepared for a fight. Are we always prepared for a fight? So this is no different for us. This is what we're used to. This is reflective of the grit of our city. I'm born and raised in the city of Philadelphia, and I was just telling somebody that when you're from Philadelphia, you don't know what it means to be guaranteed a quality education. When you're a young person of color growing up in this city, and I'm looking at those books over there, I can assure you that it took me a long time to read a book where I seen images of people that look like me. That matters. We cannot act like what we feed our subconscious doesn't exist. You can't erase history. You can't just pretend things that happened didn't happen. But guess what? That's what people are trying to do. We're not going to stand for it. There's no way on our watch that we will not fight tooth and nail with every bone in our body to make sure that our rights will not continue to be stripped. We all seen the Supreme Court decision this week. And that decision is reflective of a fight that we lost in 2016. In 2023, we're still suffering from a fight we lost in 2016. But we're going to take it as a lesson. And for the rest of our life, we won't lose a fight like that again. And it starts right here today. It's time for us to tell them, leave our city. Leave our city. Leave our city. Leave our city. Leave our city.
Leave our city. Leave our city. Leave our city.
As a member of City Council, I can tell you firsthand, we are prepared to do everything we have to do to protect the rights of the most vulnerable people in our city. That is our job. That is what you elected us to do. And you can guarantee you that we will be standing with you shoulder to shoulder, fighting this fight until we win again. I just want to say, it's hot out here. I feel the heat, right? But when you go home and you cool off, you sit in that air conditioner, and you do what you got to do to bring your temperature down, just remember that the heat that we're facing right now is nowhere near the heat that the next generation will face if we don't fight the fight that we have to fight. My wife and I just had a baby girl, 8 months old. The most depressing part, you know, having a daughter change your life. Different dad. But the most depressing part about being a girl dad right now is that my daughter has less rights than her aunt. My daughter has less rights than her mom. So at the end of the day, we are fighting this fight not just for us, but for every young person growing up in this city and in this country who we know deserve to have the right to choose, deserve to have the right to a quality education, should not be judged no matter who they choose to love or who they choose to worship. Thank you for having me. We're going to continue to fight. And one more time, leave our city. Leave our city. Leave our city. Thank you.
Leave our city.
Quick question. Can y'all show me what democracy looks like?
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks
I
like.
think y'all are right. I think being out here in the streets and yelling for what we believe in is what democracy looks like. Y'all are doing great. We got a lot of speakers and y'all are sticking it out. You're here in the heat. I think you're awesome. All right, I got another question for you. It's not a chant. Do you guys know that there's a group called Stop Moms for Liberty?
Yeah.
All right, and we got the Pennsylvania chapter chair here to tell us what they're doing and why they care and why they want to stop Moms for Liberty. Let's hear from Ariel Franchak.
Hi! So the theme of my
loud hell no! Can I get a hell no?
Hell no!
Okay, now you'll have to wait for me to unlock my phone and read the rest of it. Okay, just hang on for a second. So I'm Arielle Franchak. I am part of Stop Moms for Liberty Pennsylvania, and also am the co-chair for Defense of Democracy with an awesome woman who is here, Annette Day. I don't know where Annette is, but shout out to her. And I am here to say I am an ally, and I represent the white women who should be standing up and speaking out against Moms for Liberty, bigotry, hatred, homophobia, and lies. But why do I despise Moms for Liberty so much? After all, I'm a white, straight, cis woman with 2 white, straight, cis kids. Why should I care? I care because this affects all of us. This isn't just an issue that marginalized communities should be fighting. We need our allies to stand up and to speak out against Moms for Liberty's hatred, their homophobia, and their transphobia and racism. We need more allies. So, if you want Moms for Liberty in your city, hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no!
Hell no!
And I totally did not read anything that I wrote on here, so excuse me for a minute because I just should look at that. Let's talk about parental rights.
Yes, ma'am!
Moms for Liberty says they stand for parental rights, but they don't stand for our rights. They don't represent the rights of all parents. They don't want to teach about the history of racism and oppression. They don't want to speak about LGBTQ community members. These are hate mongers, and what they're afraid of is ideas, and they are afraid of empathy. Can you believe that? They are afraid of people having empathy for others who are oppressed or marginalized. And this is why we're here to fight. Let's all say, hell no! Hell no! Thank you.
All right, we're going to hear from another coalition partner now. We're going to hear, and she's also a concerned grandparent. Her name's Vicki Miller, and she's from Indivisible, PA.
Thank you, thank you. As Alana said, I'm Vicki Miller. I'm the group leader of Indivisible Philadelphia. Okay. Thank you for asking me to speak today. So these stories we hear about what's happening around here are hard to hear. These MAGA extremist policies with no relation to truth, no relation to honesty, are coming into our schools. Book bans, teachers fearing for their jobs over what they can teach, over what they're hanging on the walls of their classrooms. They're self-censoring with what they say or what they even do. It's appalling. So our public libraries are under siege too, because these people have told us they aren't only going after school libraries and classrooms, they're coming for public libraries too, like here in Philadelphia. It's hard to face, but here we are. We're doing the work. So I was asked to talk about what it's like to be a grandmother during this pretty crazy time. I have 6 grandchildren, and for 3 of them, the MAGA extremists have come into their schools and their legislature in Tennessee. It's appalling, it's horrifying to think that they will grow up not knowing our full history of our country. It's just appalling. So whenever I hear about a book that's been banned, I buy it for them and make sure they read it. And my other 3 grandchildren are here locally and in the suburbs in Montgomery County. They're coming for there too. And so it's all very concerning and horrifying. So we really all know that we have to call this out. This is essential work for us, not just for me, but for all of us and for our democracy. So we're all doing the first part here today. We're educating ourselves. We're showing that we won't stand for this. We're showing that we see what they're doing, and we're pushing back against these MAGA policies. by our mere presence here today. But the next part is coming. We showed the MAGA world our power in 2020 when we shoved the former guy out the door. And we showed the MAGAs again in 2022 when we beat back their anti-democratic and, by the way, wildly unpopular policies with overwhelming victories in Congress. And we'll do it again against these people. We are stronger than they are because we are fighting for the freedom for our students to learn, the freedom to read, the freedom to fully understand our country and our history, the freedom to learn about the world and people who are different than we are. That's what makes a strong democracy. We know that truth. So now we need to get busy. Find the candidates in your area who are running in races to defeat these MAGA extremist school board candidates. These are progressive candidates who are working so hard to win for all of us. Throw them a donation, canvass for them, phone bank, write postcards, lift them up on social media. Whatever you can do, do it. Because that's how we all pitch in to win against MAGA extremism. And if you're here in Philadelphia, you know that we have a neighbor that is suffering under a lot of these policies in Bucks County. So we must restore their libraries that are inclusive and tell the true stories of our history, and teachers that decide on curricula without bigoted, hateful agenda. Find those candidates and help them out. Or find us, IndivisiblePhiladelphia.com, and join us in the work. And we make it fun. So let's get busy. Thank you all.
You know what makes Moms for Liberty uncomfortable? Yeah, we make them uncomfortable. Black people, people of color, trans people, gay people, all people who are different, make them uncomfortable. I want to make them uncomfortable. We are here and we exist. I have a friend who wants to tell us about how she exists. Her name's Diana, and she's the commander of Veterans Defending Democracy.
This is what a transgender veteran looks like. Hi, my name is Diana Patton. I am the National Commander of Veterans Defending Democracy. I'm going to start with our oath. I am a United States military veteran. I became a leader by my willingness to serve my country. I am the visible conscience of a nation with regard to the costs of extremism and freedom's true price. I will not fail to support another veteran or those who cannot defend themselves. They may have wounds or hardships that few others would understand. I am a part of the eternal watch of my country and guard it against extremism and tyranny. Honor, courage, and commitment define me to this day. I have been called to serve again. My community and nation have called. I am a steadfast guardian of American ideals, freedoms, and history. I stand my watch and defend democracy. I am the keeper of rights of those being dismissed, discriminated against, harassed, bullied, and killed. I am an American veteran. I promise to protect the weak and the meek, to safeguard and transmit to the posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy. My watch never ends. Today, our American democracy is under attack by those who have falsely claimed to be patriots. Patriotism is often used by those who wish to take our country into a fascist dictatorship. Our founders, though imperfect men, gave us a way to do better through our Constitution. Along the way, we have been warned by many leaders. George Washington, guard against the imposters of pretended patriotism. Thomas Jefferson, an enlightened citizenry is indispensable for the proper functioning of a republic. Malcolm X, we're not supposed to be so blind with patriotism that you cannot face reality. Wrong is wrong, no matter who says it. Emma Goldman, conceit, arrogance, and egotism are the essentials of patriotism. The true patriot doesn't need to tell you, wave a flag to show you, or force you to pledge undying allegiance. A true patriot will show you who they are through the way they treat everyone, through their humanity, empathy, and most of all, their love of all, regardless of difference. The first pride flag was not a rainbow. It was a pink triangle to remember the LGBT Holocaust in Germany. LGBT people were the first to be imprisoned and put to death. The first books burned were those of LGBT subjects. Sound familiar? Well, history will not repeat on my watch. Say it with me. Not on my watch. We have groups right here repeating the steps of 1930s Germany, attacking the most vulnerable amongst us, trying to eradicate our transgender citizens, LGBTQIA family, and make no mistake, if they are successful, they will come for you too. Not on my watch. We are proud, strong, and will endure. We have been, and we will continue. We live as your brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, mothers, and fathers. We live and have a right to pursue our happiness. We exist in every facet of life and deserve to continue to exist. Say it with me. We are. We are. We live. We live. We exist. We exist. We are. We are. We live. We live. We exist. We exist. Thank you.
We have so many speakers. I am so appreciative to everyone who is out here holding signs with all these speakers here. Very much appreciated. We have so many people who are in this fight. It's amazing. We're going to hear next from the Executive Director of Campaign for Our Shared Future, Dr. Heather Harding. Hello.
Thank you, Alana. Thanks for having me. First of all, I want to say my name is Heather Harding, and I'm first a mom. Not a mom for liberty, but a mom for democracy. I'm so excited to see you today because we are bigger. We are the majority. They are the minority. As Alana said, I'm the Executive Director of the Campaign for Our Shared Future. We are a nonpartisan, common ground effort to protect public education. And that public education has to tell the truth, it has to be inclusive, and it has to support educators who create schools where all of our children belong and feel safe. You know, who are they to make decisions for our families, right? That's not what we're here for. None of us, there are more of us, but none of us can stand on the sidelines. And so I want to talk a little bit about the campaign. We're one, supporting educators. I was also a teacher for 20 years. I'm sorry, for 2 years. That's real different. But the real job of any parent is to work with an educator, not scream at them at the school board. Speaking of school board, there are almost 30,000 open seats across the country for school board this year. Campaign decided that 2023 has to be the year of the school board, particularly in Pennsylvania. Every school board will be up for election in this state this year. Do you know who's running for your school board? You gotta go find out. Campaign for Our Shared Future, campaignsharedfuture.org can help you testify. We can help you run. We want to see you identify the authentic and real parents and family members who can help protect our schools from this major threat. Yesterday, we were out in front of the Marriott handing out banned books. Very un-American banning books. And which books are they banning? They're banning those books that represent people like us, right? They're not just banning any books, they're going after things that make people feel unsafe, and that is also not okay. The most beautiful thing, the books we gave out for free for families, several books that I've read with my own children, several books as people came up and said, this was my favorite book, why would they want to ban that book? Because they are afraid of the emerging, multiracial, inclusive democracy that we are building. And I say again, they are not the majority, we are. So as a parent and educator, I want to invite you, if you need support, if you need help, if you need to identify who's running in your race, how to support your educators, the Campaign for a Shared Future wants to be a part of your story. So, thank you for having me, Alana, and for all of the partners. We want to link arms and be in here with you.
I'm trying to maintain a positive energy here. We are here for love, right? We are here for books, for inclusive democracy, inclusive education. Please make all for this gentleman. Thank you. All right, we got a couple more speakers, and then we're going to hear a poem, and then we're going to sing, and then we're going to march. We got a lot going on. It's going to be great. All right, let's hear from Kim Barbaro, who's the PA Deputy Director of Red, Wine, and Blue.
Hello, everyone. You are all beautiful. I am so proud to be here. My name is Kim Barbaro, and I am the Deputy Director in Pennsylvania for the nonprofit Red, Wine, and Blue. And I am so proud to be here today representing 12,000 women in Pennsylvania and almost 500,000 women nationwide. Every day, we work to support women organizing in their own communities as their school boards are thrown into total chaos by extremists like Moms for Liberty and their divisive agenda. Let's take a closer look at that agenda. You've heard about it all morning, and you know what it is. They are banning books by brown, black, and LGBTQ authors. They are removing symbols of inclusion that provide safe learning environments for our children. They are denigrating and harassing our teachers and our librarians. They are replacing curriculum with the revisionist history of the Hillsdale 1776 Project and using public funds to open charter schools with full Hillsdale curriculum. And it is all done under the guise of parents' rights. So you have to ask, which parents' rights are they fighting for? As a mom who lives and works and raises her children in Bucks County, I can tell you they are not fighting for mine. They do not get to control how the rest of us parent our children.
No, they don't.
They can do what they want, but they do not get to tell us how to raise our kids. Mainstream moms are not falling for this. We will no longer be drowned out by the loud, vocal minority. We will not tolerate harm being done to our kids and our communities.
That's right.
We will boldly speak up, protect the rights of our children, and work to ensure their safety. We will fight for the freedom to parent and prepare our kids for a beautifully diverse 21st century. Parents want our kids' schools to prepare them for success in today's world. That success comes from learning, not from banning books, not from pretending everyone is the same. Kids cannot be ready for the world if their schools ban them from learning accurate and true history. They cannot learn if their teachers are not allowed to show them the respect of using their preferred pronouns. They will learn and be ready for the 21st century only when their schools are allowed to say the word gay. While Moms for Liberty is spreading hate at their convention, we're here across the street handing out the very same books that they are banning. And we will continue this fight. We will not give up. We do not co-parent with book banners. We will exercise our freedom to parent and choose books, not bans. We will choose freedom, not fear. We will choose community, not chaos. And we will always choose heart over hate. Let's tell them inside there, heart, not hate.
Heart, not hate. Heart, not hate. Heart, not hate. Let's say gay. Let's say gay. Let's say gay.
I love it. All right, we got a couple more speakers. I want to hear now from my friend Maura Kalida, who is with Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools. Woo!
Thank you. Good morning, Philadelphia.
Good morning.
I said good morning, Philadelphia.
Good morning.
Thank you. My name is Maura Kalida, and I'm from Pittsburgh. Came across the state, though. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful public school children, and I am the wife of a public school teacher, and I am a former school board member from Pittsburgh that passed the first transgender, gender nonconforming policy in the state of Pennsylvania. I am also the executive director of the National Education Justice Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools. As an alliance of educators and students, parents, and community members, we are united on the local, state, and federal levels for education justice and fighting for equity and justice in our public schools. Let's be real. Our public schools are the bedrock of democracy and the great equalizer of society. At the Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools, which we call AROS, for those of you to make it easier, we are laser focused on fighting for the schools our kids deserve. We're laser focused on ensuring that every student can attend a neighborhood public school with inclusive and affirming curriculum and books, resource classrooms, well-prepared teachers, and supported educators, and where social and emotional needs can be met. For these reasons, I stand with you on this hot-ass summer morning. In this building behind me, a group of individuals claiming to represent the interests of moms is meeting and plotting a way forward to dismantle education as we know it. They purport to stand for our students, but they've done the opposite over the last 2 years, as we've seen here in Pennsylvania. Instead of expanding knowledge and opportunities to learn, they push forward an agenda that purges books from libraries, bans African American history and textbooks, and stands in the way of fully including Black, Indigenous, people of color, LGBT communities, disabled communities, and the past experiences in existence. Beyond that, they're a leading force behind the movement to expand voucher programs and to increase funding for virtual and religious education funded with taxpayer dollars. Right now in Harrisburg, our PA lawmakers are behind closed doors deciding just how much influence these folks have had. By the end of today, we could see the influence of this movement and the implementation of vouchers from our Democratic governor. This isn't a battle, it's a war. We demand that all schools be held accountable, transparent, and serve our babies the same. We demand that schools respect the collective voice of educators, and most importantly, we want schools to be in it for our students and not for profits. While our public schools and PA struggle to make ends meet, these so-called private alternatives are siphoning off hard-earned taxpayer dollars and utilizing them to push forward an agenda based on censorship, an agenda based on spreading hate and lies instead of the love our children deserve. Today we come to stand against that. We know that these unregulated private alternatives do a disservice to our Black, brown, and working family neighbors, and in particular refuse to educate students with disabilities. Those of us genuinely united for public education have a chance right now to fight for the schools our kids deserve. Together, we parents, grandparents, community members, teachers, concerned citizens, we can unite our voices and push forward an agenda that will lift up our students, enrich our classrooms, and ensure young people have a world-class education. Together we can fight forward for accurate teaching of history, fully funded schools, fully stocked libraries that include books from Black, brown, and LGBTQ authors in classrooms where it's okay to say gay. Let's say gay!
Let's say gay! Let's say gay! Let's say gay! Let's say gay! Let's say gay!
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Our next steps ahead aren't gonna be easy. But doing what is right is never easy. So this morning, let's unite for a worthy, righteous, and equitable fight. Let's come together and reclaim the schools our students deserve. So show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Well, there is a group that does it full time, and we want to thank them. New Pennsylvania Project. Let's hear from Kenita.
name is Kadita Kenner. I'm the founding CEO of the New PA Project Education Fund. And we are a voting rights organization that wants to make sure all of Pennsylvanians who are eligible to vote are registered to vote. Last year, we collected 20,000 voter registration forms in our first year in operation. We are a statewide organization and we are doing this work year round. How many of you are registered to vote? How many of you are going to vote this November? All right, well, that's a good question to ask because let me tell you, there are 1.2 million Pennsylvanians who are eligible to vote but are not registered. Shame! Shame! Now, we're not shaming these folks because there's reasons why they stay out of the electorate, and that's why organizations like ours exist, because we want to make sure that we have better access to the ballot. So, all of you that are here registered to vote today, I want you to know this, especially those of you that are moms. In Philadelphia, only 15% of high school students who are eligible to vote are registered. 15%. And statewide, that number is 1 in 4. If you have a high school senior in your life, the odds are they are not registered to vote. How many of you will commit to getting a young person registered to vote today? So if you see that more folks walking around in this green t-shirt, there's one back there, Michael Wave. Michael Wave, Danico Wave. We have voter registration forms. That's what we are doing today. This is the way we speak out against Moms for Liberty. Because I guarantee you, those ladies vote. They vote. And we must outvote them every time. Can I get your commitment to get someone registered to vote today? We need every single one of your votes. Thank you for your time.
All right. We're going to hear from a friend over the border in New Jersey, Mike Gottesman from the New Jersey Public Education Coalition. Ready to go?
Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. Just a few miles over the river is New Jersey. And we feel your pain. We feel your disgust. And we feel your anger that Moms for Liberty has brought hate to your city and your state. And we're with you. We are here to support you. New Jersey is a targeted state. My town was a targeted town. And when I first got up to speak at my school board meetings, I was catcalled. I was interrupted. I was shouted over. And then they extended that to social media, where they called me a disbarred attorney, mentally unstable, and a pedophile, and that's some of the nice stuff. But even though I was attacked, I persevered, and we all have to persevere. When we found out about this convention, along with Defense of Democracy, we started a petition on change.org. Demanding that Marriott reject this convention. And to date, we have over 30,000 signatures. But did Marriott respond? Did we even get an email? No. Because Marriott chose profit over conscience, dollars over diversity, and money over morality. So we all should show our displeasure with Marriott. And you know how to do that. Right down the street is a Hilton and a Ramada. We don't have to give them business. We can tell them how we feel. Now don't be disheartened by what's happening in your state and here in your city. Because you can do what we did in New Jersey. We pressured our Attorney General. We pressured our Commissioner of Education. And we pressured the Division of Civil Rights. And we told them, you need to act. And you need to act when local school districts want to pass and do pass policies requiring mandatory parental notification when a student goes to a teacher or a staff member and asks them questions or tells them concerns that they have about their gender identity. And guess what? Our Attorney General did act. Our Attorney General filed a lawsuit under those against those districts under the New Jersey law against discrimination. And the same thing can happen here. You have to keep on top of those government officials and representatives. You have to get them to act. You have to call. You have to email. You have to show up on their doorstep. And then they'll listen. Thank you.
Anybody here speak Spanish? Sí. All right, we got a Spanish speaker. I want to hear from Maritza. She's with the National Parents Union. She's going to deliver some words in Spanish for us. Thanks, Maritza.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maritza Gertie, Deputy Director of Parent Voice for the National Parents Union. Muy buenos días. I'm going to make this quick, and this will be a bilingual message because I want everybody to understand. I am a mother, I am a grandmother, I fully understand the importance of protecting our children against hate. We will counter hate with love and understanding for all. I stand with all of you to make sure that our love is never undermined by hate. Soy madre, soy abuela, entiendo perfectamente la importancia de proteger a nuestros hijos contra el odio. El odio con amor, no queremos odio, queremos más amor en nuestra ciudad. Estoy con ustedes para asegurar que nuestro amor vencerá el odio. These hate groups that are here in the city of Philadelphia are not comfortable with us. They don't want to see us united. They need to leave. They picked the wrong one. And I'm not going to use foul language, but they are finding out what it feels like to be in Philadelphia. Thank you so very much for all of you fighting. We are here with you. Lo queremos mucho. Muchísimas gracias.
All right. Thank you, guys. There's been so many good speakers. We have some fun stuff for you now. We got a poet, my friend Sarah Browning is a poet here in Philadelphia. She co-founded Split This Rock, and she's got a poem for you guys. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you all so much for being here today. This is what democracy looks like. Yeah.
Democracy looks like.
You know, it's right out of the playbook of fascism. They come after the writers. They come after the poets. They come after the books. And why do they come after the poets and writers? Because the poets and writers tell the truth. And they voice the aspirations of the people. Am I right?
Yeah.
This is my poem. I am asked what another world looks like. We step outside and small children sleek from sprinklers raining the scent of every gorgeous night sing to us their poems. The poems sing back the child's long life ahead, cousins who grow side by side, each child a cousin, kin. And each neighbor is in love with every neighbor child's poem. The child and the poem roller skating that love, racing. And the poem is a ripe pomegranate, intricate and staining with sweet red, the fingers, face, and teeth of the child, the vision of the child full of the pomegranate poem. The poem is play, and the poem is grown-ups telling their growing up stories. And the poem is potluck suppers, saffron rice, tangy greens, roasted peppers, aromas of 1,000 cuisines. History is in the poem, and sadness. But the child's poem sings the possible, sings the body. The child's poem is pleasure, high swings and kicking feet, and always a warm bed. Fingers to entwine. The child steps outside, and we listen for her poem. This Latrice poem, this Maria poem, this Nifwa poem, this Joanne poem, this Ruth poem, this Earth poem, this possible poem, this other world poem, this breath, this believing, living poem breath. Thank you all. Thank you for your beautiful activism.
I went to a rally yesterday. It was a National Parents Union rally. It was awesome. I met someone there who said, I got a beautiful singing voice. And I said, prove it. And she did. And I want to hear a song from her now. My friend Tamara, new friend Tamara.
be more perfect for today. So it's gonna be eyes on the prize. So when you get to hold on, I'm gonna point to myself. I'm gonna say, hold on. You say, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. You only got hold on. Here we go again. So, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's it. Instead of hold on, you gotta close it. So give a little musical. You're gonna go hold on. Hold on. Do we get that? Okay. Here we go. So I'm gonna go. Paul and Silas bound in jail, had no money to go to bed. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Oh, wait. Yeah. Paul and Silas began to shout. Doors popped open and they walked. What am I doing? Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Oh, come on, choir. Yes. Well, the only chains we can stand are the chains of being hand in hand. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Yes, here we go. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Yes. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Last verse, here we go. Got my hands on the freedom plow. Wouldn't take nothing for my journey now. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. And then we're going to be really quiet. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Yes! Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Show me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
You're incredible. That was our lineup of speakers. Thank you so much. Don't forget there's chalk on the ground. Please write loving and inclusive messages. And folks will be here protesting all day. I probably have other things that I want to say, but I'm going to forget them. So let me open up my phone and see if I can get there. All right, let's see here. Yeah, don't forget to sign up to be a grandparent for truth or a supporter. If you don't have to be a grandparent, I'm in the group. I'm not even close to being a grandparent, as my mother will tell you. And let's see here. Yes, Events of Democracy will be here. ACT UP is doing stuff over there. Yeah, it's all over the place. Don't forget to just spread love, not hate. And if you're fired up, don't forget to vote. Don't forget to talk at your local school board meeting. And don't forget, if you are interested in signing up your own chapter of Grandparents for Truth, Grandkids for Truth, or just People for the American Way chapter, where we can combat things like Moms for Liberty, go to the website, pfaw.org, pfaw.org. And yeah, go and get some sidewalk chalk, go and get some bubbles and be loving.